Hi guys, hi everyone. I look so small and short on stage. Okay, so this is going to be actually one very technical. It's one of my new presentations, a new topic that really I don't think anyone talks about, so I had to write everything. Let me introduce myself. My name is Maor. I'm 33-year-old, not 3, like the presentation says. I'm originally from Jerusalem, but now I live in Tel Aviv. I travel the world and I'm a public speaker now. I'm going to soon be an author because I'm finishing my book. One thing that's unique about me is that I'm an affiliate. I have 2 agencies and I have a couple of brands of my own. So 2 agencies, one in Israel, one abroad. I have a fitness center, a couple of fitness centers actually, a fitness app, some online courses. I have supplement brands, so we're doing a bunch of stuff. And I've done a lot of consultations over the past year or even 2. And my presentations and the topics that I like to talk about are really based on those consultations and things that people are missing out. So something I came up with is my definition of what I call a full-stack media buyer. So a full-stack media buyer is someone who really mastered and paid and mastered and really learned and spent his own money on paid media. So every platform that there is. The reason why I came up with full-stack media buyer, the definition, it's just that when I did a lot of consultations, I found out 90 or 95% of media buyers are just buying media on Facebook. So it's someone who's really completely obsessed with how to manipulate, how to make sure that he gets and extracts everything from just the money and the time that he spends on the platforms. So when you're a full-stack media buyer, it allows you to move faster, it allows you to open your mind to new ideas, you get to be more creative because you know more stuff. You have the ability to really communicate better with people you work with because you're able to also to some extent do whatever they are doing, and you're also into the terminology, so you're able to communicate with the video photographer, the video editor, for example, and stuff like that. And also one of the biggest things when it comes to being a full-stack media buyer is the ability to really be open to more automations and being flexible to improving and optimizing your own business. So this is going to be my presentation about chatbots and lead form hacks and manipulations. And I know that a lot of you are talking about, chatbots. It either sounds like something from the past, and it's some of you tested it, some of you think it doesn't work. I'm really going to give it a twist and see and show you how it works. So we're going to talk about some chatbots and lead forms that are actually working right now and how it looks. We're going to talk about the basic stuff. We're going to move into remarketing, talk about some essential remarketing stuff, and then we're going to move into advanced remarketing, and then I'm going to connect both talks and talk about how you can use remarketing with chatbots and with lead forms, so you don't actually lose the ability to remarket. And we're also, at the end, going to talk about some hacks and manipulations when it comes to chatbots, and I'm going to share what I call some wolf tips. So this is it. Okay, so first of all, chatbot and lead forms. People already know about the fact that they're on Facebook. They've been there for a while, but they're also on TikTok and they're also on Google. The big benefits, and this is the stuff that I really want you to take from this conversation and from this presentation. So the bigger benefits, you're going to learn about the big benefits when it comes to using them. You're going to talk about how to use lead gen and e-commerce campaign. So we're going to utilize the lead forms and chatbots into the e-commerce campaigns. And we're going to talk about how to manipulate the algorithm into serving the ads in different placements and different times when it comes to just manipulating the algorithm when it comes to different types of campaigns. And we're going to talk about how to not go through the major just like complex way of opening a chatbot, which is through third-party apps like ManyChat and stuff. We're going to talk about how to open it internally. We're going to go through, as I told you, essential remarketing and more advanced stuff that had to do with remarketing. And we're going to talk about how to improve the quality of the ads, which is something very big when it comes to lead gen forms and just in general. So it's 2022, it's almost 2023. People don't like it when you call them. Even if they really left and submitted their phones and names to the service or product that you're selling. So this is actually why I really highly suggest people pivot and move into chatbots, just because of the fact that people don't really like when you call them. So a few benefits of using chatbots and lead forms. First of all, the biggest thing is that it overcomes iOS issues. So you don't have any attribution problems and you don't have any kind of tracking problems. The systems really track. You also get a much higher conversion rates, which we're going to talk about in a second, and the user could get qualified, and you can make them go through a very educating and informative flow. So we're going to talk about that. And also, you don't lose the ability to remarket, because people think that if you don't send to a website outside of Facebook, for example, you lose the ability to remarket, so you don't. These types of campaigns could be also used to just gather information about the user, just like their email, their phone, increase your email and SMS lists. It's big. And we're also going to talk about how to manipulate the algorithm, just like I told you. So one big thing that people don't even know, when you're opening a chatbot within Facebook, Facebook actually allows you to use their own pool of answers in order to target users. So for example, if you're running an insurance campaign and you're looking for a person that has a certain type of car or already answered a question regarding insurance, Facebook actually allows you to do that now, and that's a big thing because Facebook removed a lot of the targeting options, which is huge. It's just like it opened up a world of options when it comes to targeting. So when it comes to iOS, there is no problem because the systems are just like directly communicating with Facebook. Everything is internal. You don't have a pixel. Everything is internally hosted, so you don't have any attribution problems. The Facebook actually gets all the data from the campaign, which is amazing. Conversion rates are very high when it comes to chatbots and lead gen campaigns. And why? We have 4 issues that really have to do with conversion rates. So we have the page speed, the amount of time that it takes the user to load. We have the number of fields. We have how complicated the page looks like, which has to do with design, UI, UX. And we have the time that it actually takes the user to go through the fields and fill them. So, well, when it comes to page speed, as I told you, everything is internal. People click on it, the Facebook Messenger app or the TikTok leads form or within Google, it opens up. So the page speed is being solved by it. The number of fields actually is something that's controllable, and you can really do some A/B testing and really figure out what impacts the conversion rates. So it's something that you can manipulate. The design of the chatbot is something that the user already is very familiar with the interface, so that's also solved. And the time that the user actually takes to answer the questions is something that's probably the best when it comes to chatbots and lead forms, because everything, or at least some of the questions, are pre-filled because Facebook and TikTok already know some of the stuff, so it's pre-filled. So when we're talking about how to use lead gen and e-com campaigns, okay, so when I say lead gen, I mean lead forms and chatbots. I'm going to call it lead gen from now, hopefully, if I remember. But a lot of people, when it comes to lead gen, they don't really understand how that could be integrated into e-commerce. And there are a few ways of doing it. One is gathering email marketing, just data to remarket to these people later, either through emails or SMS, which is kind of like obvious. But also, one of the things that really worked for me is building a quiz. So you build an engaging funnel. Let's say that your product is, for example, something that has to do with men's health. And you want that person to know that if he buys that product, he would get certain benefits from it. So you can actually ask them a couple of questions, and in the meantime, while the user goes through the quiz, you also get a lot of data. So for example, what specifically their problem is, or what they're trying to solve, or what they're looking for. So that could be something that really teaches you about the product. And actually, one more thing that you can do, besides getting just like the information about the user, what I like doing is at the end of the flow, whether it's a chatbot or a lead form, I actually send that user either into the product page, the cart, or sometimes even a video that educates them more, depends on the funnel. But what I like doing, and this is actually not on the presentation, I'm gonna kind of like, not improvise, but I want you guys to know, because this is something I really tested throughout the last month, and it's working great for me. So what I'm doing is I'm actually taking, it takes a bit of coding, it's not a big thing, but I'm taking the first name, the last name, what that user was interested in, and I implement it into the product page. Okay, you're the first people that I really share this with. This really exploded when it comes to conversion rates. And why? Just imagine when you go to Louis Vuitton or Tumi, you get like your name on the wallet that you buy. And this really is the first time I see a personalized experience when it comes to like a product page. Just imagine like you go inside the page, and by the way, I see that you left. This is really not planned. It's not on the presentation, and it's really improvised. But I know how it sounds like when someone says it. It sounds like bullshit. Just imagine you go into like a product page, or like just a shopping experience, and you get your actual name, and your product could be also fitted. So if someone has a certain problem, or is trying to figure out like what type of service he needs for his house, then that could also be on that page. So also one big thing that really we should talk about, and this is a whole nother conversation, is how Facebook, the algorithm works. Of course, it's much more complex than what I'm gonna talk about right now, but if I want to simplify things, when you open up a conversions campaign and send that user into either an e-commerce store or a landing page, then what Facebook does is it actually goes into the conversion event, for example, purchase or lead that you chose, and it's going through the pool of people who actually purchased or submitted leads within your target audience. So for example, you wanted to target women that are 35 and above inside the United States, and Facebook is going towards, first of all, it's going towards people who already converted for that conversion event. So people who purchased, people who submitted leads. When you open up a chatbot or a leads form campaign, it approaches a way different type of audience. So the guys here that are running lead gen on a massive scale, sometimes you would see that you have a lot of duplicates. And the reason why is that everyone is competing on the same audience. You, me, him, everyone that's running the same campaign. Facebook combines two things: what you say on the text, video, and image with your conversion event inside your target audience. That's the majority of the targeting ability that Facebook has right now. Of course, it's based on a lot of data points and stuff like that was limited throughout iOS 14. This is really geeky stuff, yeah? I don't know, I get carried away, so if someone wants to stop me, okay, perfect. So anyways, so Facebook combines it and really attacks, and you get impressions from the same type of people. So when you open up a chatbot or a lead gen campaign, you actually get your ad served to a different type of audience, a fresh audience, which is really good. It opens up a whole new world. So one thing that you can do is, for example, you can open up a conversions campaign to people who already purchased and get or didn't purchase, like, and get their lead information, and it's going to attack or approach or target different types of audiences. So let's talk about the different types of lead forms. I just want you guys to be on the same kind of like page with me. So everyone here knows how the Facebook lead gen form looks like. You open up a lead generation campaign, you have a bunch of like fields that you can fill out and create that lead gen campaign. You have the ability to add specific questions and open questions and really choose a bunch of stuff. So that's just like Facebook. You also have the equivalent of that inside TikTok. So TikTok really copied the the flow of creating that lead generation campaign. So these two are something that when they just came out, a lot of people were just really confused when it came to how it works. And when lead generation ads first showed up, a lot of people mistakenly left their details, and it really came to the point where lead forms really got a bad name because the lead quality wasn't good. But nowadays, people are more used to people using them, and it's working really good. So let's talk about two different types of campaigns that people aren't really used to. The first one is Google lead forms. I don't think any speaker that I've heard ever talked about it because it's really an uncharted territory. So on the left, you really see how the ad looks like. On the middle, you see how the form actually looks like, and you have lots of placements. Like on the right, you see how it would look inside YouTube. So you would actually have your lead form inside YouTube. So currently, the way that you do it is through what Google call an ad extension. It's not like a whole campaign, a whole specific campaign, and it works really good. Google actually prioritizes that. So throughout the next months, if you open up a Google lead campaign, that could be a game changer. So when you do that, the conversion event is internally hosted because, again, everything is internal. It doesn't go out to any website. And just like Facebook, you have the ability to create the lead form, but it's a bit more limited when it comes to specific questions. You really have to stay within whatever Google wants you to stay. The sunny side to it is the fact that you don't have a lot of policy issues because they already chose the type of questions for you. So the next thing I want to talk about would be the Facebook chatbots. So up to now, what you had would be the only ability to really create a chatbot. You had to use a third-party tool, which is something like ManyChat. ManyChat was, and still is, very complex to learn. It takes a lot of time to really prepare and get things going. Nowadays, I don't know how many of you noticed, but when you go into a lead generation campaign within Facebook, you have the ability to choose automated chat and really create a chatbot for your campaign without any third-party tools. So you have the ability to really customize and personalize the experience for the user. You can use their own name, you can use some emojis, and you can actually use a lot of data that's within Facebook. So people are having a much better interaction because it's personalized and because you can make it very complex for you, but very simplified for the user. So for example, you have the ability to really ask questions and then decide if one answer would disqualify the user, so it doesn't have to go through the whole thing, or maybe a specific answer sends them to the end of the chatbot and the end of the script, which is really good. I want to talk to you guys about some remarketing stuff, just like I told you, and then we're going to connect it. So we're going to hold off the chatbots and lead gen campaign. So top of funnel traffic, this is something, again, that I've seen over and over again at my account audits. People are using top of funnel traffic, which is not sustainable unless you have a product that's over $200, really. So bottom of funnel is the way to go, right? Especially with rising prices on Facebook. Even though this year I think the prices on Facebook are like 15% less than last year. Again, the prices are just going up, so the only way to really approach it and win would be with the back-end traffic. So when I say back-end, most of you think of email and SMS, which is great, but I'm also talking about how you could use those clicks that you already had from the top-of-funnel campaign and utilize them into a bottom-of-funnel remarketing campaign. So we're going to talk about some remarketing benefits that not a lot of people know or think about. So the first one is the ability to share data between platforms, which is what I call cross-platform remarketing. So a lot of people would have their majority of traffic to their product running from one platform, like Facebook or TikTok, for example, but they forget to implement the pixels from the other platforms in order to remarketing. So for example, with Google, which is really strict when it comes to policy, if you have a medical device or product, you can't really use remarketing, but you can still do it with Facebook or TikTok, and you can remarket that data. The other obvious thing that people know, but they usually forget when it comes to really taking action, is higher conversion rates, meaning That means that you can really bully and push the competition. When you're talking about bottom of funnel traffic, you know that those users are already interested in your product. They already showed interest in the ad, they clicked, they went inside the website. So let's talk about some basic essential remarketing stuff. The first one is just implementing the codes. Make sure when you open up a product, a service, anything, a new campaign, you go through a checklist. Doesn't matter whether it's Snapchat, Google, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, Verizon Media, Taboola, Outbrain, make sure that you implement the pixel. This is one of the most important things. Why? Because the pixel learns, it gathers a lot of data, so even if you're not gonna push ads, you're still going to be able to use the data and audience insights from that pixel. But also, when you launch a campaign, you want to make sure that the pixel is warm, that you have enough data, that you can maybe use some lookalike audiences. The way I suggest you do it is through Google Tag Manager. The reason why I like doing it is because you're going to have lots of events, lots of pixels, and just it's a very organized way that really saves time. You don't need a coder, you don't need a developer to do it. And you're gonna have lots of different pixels. I like just like implementing an event for everything that's on the website, and it allows me for a lot of manipulations. And just like I open up the pixels and events within Google Tag Manager, I highly suggest that you go and create those audience segments within the accounts. So make sure that you open an audience for each type of the funnel. So I'm not talking about just the obvious things like people who added to cart, initiated checkout, and purchased. I highly suggest you do the same thing whether you have some upsells, downsells, time that the user spends on the site, any lead magnet. And what I like doing always is open every audience for a 7, 14, 30, 60, 90, 120, 180 days every time, because that allows me to really optimize. There are certain things within Google, for example, you can add a bunch of audiences to each campaign and actually see how every audience performs. And you can either block one segment, bid up or bid down the other segment. So that's a big thing. The other thing that's kind of like the basic stuff that I open up within every campaign and people are still missing on it is search remarketing. When I say search remarketing, I mean every search platform there is, Google Ads, Bing, and Yahoo. When you start posting any type of traffic and pushing traffic into the website, you're gonna have what my friend from Bulgaria calls Todo, he calls the Spielberg. You're gonna get more searches, you're gonna get more searches within Amazon, you're gonna get more people searching for you on Google. And you wanna make sure that you capture that traffic. So what I like in my search remarketing type of structure would be branded keywords on one campaign, the other campaign would be generic keywords. I like to keep the bid settings for the branded keywords, if we're talking about Google, as target impression share very high. The reason for that is that I want to make sure that I would be on every search within that specific target segment and audience segment. And the bidding settings for generic keywords, I don't like optimizing on conversions. The reason why is that when you optimize on conversions, you tell the system that you want the system and the algorithm to decide whether it's going to participate in the auction, whether that user is likely to buy or convert or not. And since we're dealing with bottom of funnel traffic, we already know that that audience is interested to some extent in our products or services. We want to make sure that we never optimize on conversions. We want to make sure that everyone that searches gets our ad. And also, obviously, making sure that we exclude that audience segments from the top of funnel traffic because we don't want to create overlaps. Also, one more thing that people keep forgetting when it comes to Google, two things actually. One, when you get into a remarketing campaign, you need to make sure that you choose targeting and not observation. A lot of people click on observation and it doesn't really target that traffic. And also unchecking the targeting expansion thing so that campaign is really narrowed down. Let's take it to the next level when it comes to remarketing. How am I doing so far? Is it super geeky? Am I doing okay? Is it okay? Yeah, perfect. Okay. It's super geeky. Okay. It's very technical. So a couple of things when it comes to remarketing before we connect the remarketing talk with the chatbots and lead forms. So the first thing is making sure that you adjust the creatives and adjust the campaign, the remarketing campaign, to that specific bottom of funnel audience. What does it mean? Usually when someone opens up a remarketing campaign, they just duplicate the old campaign. So they use the same ads, the same page, and the same stuff. So what I want you to do is add an offer, change the offer, use urgency, use a countdown timer, different site links if we're talking about Google. Make sure that the user that actually sees the second campaign, the remarketing campaign, gets a different message. If you know what specific rejections that user has, for example, it might be the pricing, it might be the shipping costs, then answer those. You know, the remarketing campaign is made for people who are confused, they need more information, they're debating whether to buy, they're still in the research and discovery loop, they're comparing prices. So sending those users to another page is one of the biggest things when it comes to remarketing, because most people would use the same page they use for top of funnel traffic for the bottom of funnel traffic, and I don't really understand why, because you're either competing with your organic results or just losing conversion rates. There is so much money to be made here, because if you send that type of traffic to a dedicated page that really answers those rejects, has a different type of pricing or something like that, then you would get a much higher conversion rate. This is like really small tips that could really make such a big difference and impact in your business and campaigns. So another thing is making sure that you bid adjust your campaigns. You want to make sure that when you're running a remarketing campaign, you really push the bid as high as possible. So if you're using a maximizing click, you want to make sure that you get it way high. And if you're using manual bidding, you want to make sure that you increase the bids by a lot. The next thing is broadening targeting. A lot of people would duplicate the top of funnel campaign while limiting certain placements or settings and stuff like that. So I want you to open up the campaigns as much as possible. When I'm talking about opening them up, within search campaigns, make sure that you open up match types, put on the broadest keywords. Again, I'm not talking about top of funnel, new traffic, fresh traffic. I'm talking about warm traffic. You want to make sure that it hits everything possible and the user thinks that you're like a media buying empire and he sees you all over the place. When it comes to native, make sure that you're running run-of-network campaigns, no whitelists, no limitations. When it comes to GDN and YouTubes, run on mobile apps, make sure that there are no placement exclusions, you need to basically choose everything. Display partners, just be wherever you want. And let's connect both talks. The first talk was chatbots, lead gen. The second one was remarketing, and let's see how we can utilize chatbots within the remarketing space. So the first thing that you need to do is making sure that you create a form-based audience for the remarketing. So if we're talking about Facebook, for example, you go into the audience library and you have the ability to choose a specific page, and you have a couple of different types of events. You have people who open this form, people who opened and submitted details, and people who opened but didn't submit. I like, just like the normal remarketing campaign, to create a couple of different audiences. So a 7, 14, 30, 90, 180 days, whatever you decide. This would also help you with getting lookalike audiences. This would also help you with excluding the traffic that already viewed your message. Make sure that you also create another campaign for people who saw your ad, clicked on it, opened but didn't submit, and you can open up a different conversions campaign, just like I was talking a few minutes ago, because that's going to really approach those users in a different way. So what I'm talking about is going to sound weird, but it's been working really good. So the theory is that someone that comes from your website and doesn't convert, doesn't purchase, or doesn't leave their details, is someone that might convert when it comes to a lead gen campaign. And when you're creating a lead gen campaign or a chatbot campaign, that someone who didn't convert is someone who maybe wants more information, or maybe he's scared from the fact that some fields are pre-filled by Facebook and TikTok. So creating a new campaign and that's based on the remarketing audience from the chatbot or lead form and sending those users into a conservative, like a normal landing page, that's something that really helps you because you, first of all, you utilize the conversion data that Facebook has and just like the algorithm and how it works. You serve those people with more information and they actually have the ability to convert. So you're actually targeting within that target audience, a different type of audience. So a user clicks on an ad, for example, it doesn't submit the form, sees more ads, goes into the website and potentially converts. So that helps convert people who are afraid. I actually went through that. Helps squeeze more out of the original campaign, and it pushes the algorithm into showing ads that to people or placements to those people that the algorithm wouldn't usually show. It also works on the other way around. So for example, a user that comes from your either organic or paid traffic that you're sending into a landing page doesn't convert, and it might convert through a chatbot. So you also get a much more quality lead. So a lot of people who consider buying your product on the website and then they see a chatbot, they haven't left their email or phone number inside the website, they might leave it with the chatbot, and then you got the second best thing in e-commerce after a sale, which is their information, and you get to email them. So let's talk about some hacks and manipulations. This is the last part of the presentation. This is really pushing chatbots and lead gen after really talking about the essential stuff into the wolf level. So first of all, if it's not obvious, I really like remarketing and I'm a geek when it comes to remarketing, and I think it's a big part of every campaign. And you need to make sure that you open up a remarketing campaign within every campaign, every chat, every lead form campaign that you're creating. So again, creating the remarketing that's based on the forms, making sure that you open up anyone who opened this form, people who opened but didn't submit, and people who opened and submitted the form. Again, Facebook, TikTok, whenever you can, make sure that you have those audiences. Another tip that I have for you that's really a game changer when it comes to lead forms and chatbots is making sure that you're not just using the normal just like fields that you have within whatever Facebook allows you. You actually push the user into really asking them a qualifying question. Are you really looking for a mattress? Are you looking to replace your existing mattress? Something that they either have to choose from a specific list of answers or they have to write something. This doesn't hurt the conversion rate, and it would help you filter out a lot of bad leads that are just clicking next, 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 and just submitting while they don't really want to get information about the product or service. Just like I told you a second ago, making the form or chatbot experience, especially chatbots, longer shouldn't really scare you. So people who are running lead gen up to now, they're kind of like thinking like a normal marketer's mentality would be, if I add more fields, then the users are going to drop and I'm going to lose conversion rates. It doesn't work like that when it comes to chatbots. Users are not afraid of being asked multiple questions, and it really helps you get more information. When I scale and optimize chatbot or lead form campaigns, the way I do it usually, one of the things that I really like recently to do is open a gender or age specific type of campaign. So for example, if I know that the majority of the leads that I have is female, then I would open up a chatbot that is very directed, or a lead form that's very directed into the female type of audience. One big thing that I haven't seen anyone do is A/B test the form or A/B test the flow of the script of the chatbot. I don't know why, but usually what happens is that people open up one lead form, one chatbot, and that's it. While changing the script, changing the text that comes with like the first message inside the flow that the user sees really could have a big impact. So I optimize the text, I optimize the call to actions, I optimize the order and the length of the chatbot, and that's something really, really good. Again, it's not on the presentation, but I like using ACO on TikTok, which is automated creative optimization, and that really helps you choose a bunch of different lead forms, and it would optimize in between them, so it would combine the perfect creative with the perfect targeting and the perfect lead form. So that's a big thing that I really, really think that you should consider. And also one big thing that I usually do is send that user, when the form or flow ends, I send them into either the product page so I could get more sales, or I send them, if it's a lead generation campaign, I send them into like an educating video about what the product or service is, and they are much more warmer. So what I did is A/B tested that. I created 2 campaigns. One had like a video at the end that really was informative and went through the process of how you sign up to my gym, my fitness center, and how it works, and one without it. And I really, after like, I think it was 450 leads from each campaign, I found out that there was a much higher conversion rate within those people who watched the video, because they didn't, that's what I think, at least that's my interpretation, is that they haven't heard the information from the sales representative. They heard it from just a video that they've seen. 2 things regarding that. When you send someone outside through the flow, the chat flow, or the lead generation form, you need to make sure that the link, A, doesn't require login, and also it's compliant as if you were opening up a normal conversions campaign. These 2 are a big part of why ad accounts and campaigns are being rejected and ad accounts are going down, business managers and stuff. Facebook, and especially TikTok, would go through the whole flow. So for example, if at the end of the lead generation form on TikTok, you're gonna send the user into your Facebook, since Facebook is a site that requires login, that campaign is going to get disapproved. One last thing I think that I wanted to share with you is that chatbots, unlike other campaigns within Facebook, for example, they tend to take more time to optimize. That's my experience, at least, within the chatbot campaigns that I'm running. The first couple, let's say 3 days, the campaigns don't really convert very well. You're not gonna get closer to the target CPL that you want. You need to give it some time to learn. The algorithm really optimizes in a different way currently when it comes to that. And also one big thing is that you could use chatbots to collect more leads and then market to them later, which is something that should be obvious, but it's a big thing that people are missing. So that was chatbots and hacks and manipulations and lead gen. I'm on every social media possible, as you can see, and I'd love it if you would add me. I'm doing this just like for fun. I like sharing information, so I have a bunch more stuff on my YouTube stuff, and I'm a pretty funny guy, so add me on Instagram.
Thank you, Maor. Awesome. Well, we have time, guys, for one question, okay? And then if anybody has questions for you, what's the best way for them to...
Oh yeah, just either find me in the conference hall or just ping me, and some days I'm nice, so I answer.
And your Instagram handle is?
Maor Benaim. It was on...
Cool,
yeah.
so shoot him a DM.
Maor yeah.
Yeah, definitely, awesome. Any questions? You guys want to hold it for the DMs? Okay, we're going to hold it for DMs. Round of applause for Maor. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.